needed more initiation, but yeah, I don't like this pick at all, actually. It's against a Batten, too.
And versus PL now. They instantly pick a pretty good hero versus the Bat, right?
Yeah.
PL is completely fine on that lane.
Man, I'm so surprised they picked Bat. They had so many stuns, and then it's Bat against the Batten. So immediately, I was actually really liking Team Spirit's draft, and now I'm not. So
they're lacking utility.
yeah, that's what I was saying. They needed like a guy to buff up their Terabyte, right?
You know what they're lacking? Two things: utility and any kind of save for the TB.
All
That's
right,
dead.
but is there a period in the game where they're stronger? Do they have a game plan? Even if it's a bad plan, do they have a plan?
They have a ton of kill potential, so if they can manage to pick them off, yes.
Yeah.
But I think that we're going to see similar story to what Geek Fam did in Game 1, where eventually they're going to be allowed to ball up, and you're going to have serious team fight sustain issues, because you don't... Who builds Vlads? Who builds Pipe? Who builds Mech Solar? Like, Terrorblade needs these items, because he's never going to build them.
You know, you're playing versus a puck that's going to be a core, and you want to end this game fairly quickly on the side of Team Spirit. How will you push if you don't have a pipe, if you don't have a Vlads and Mech?
And when PL gets Manta, he's almost unkillable.
They really love riding those staffs.
They really do. Yes.
I think PL is by far the late game winner here.
Definitely.
Against Invoker, scales really well.
20th pick, win.
Yeah. Usually I don't see too impressive of last picks, but I only fear for PL that the game's like over by the 15-minute mark when he doesn't want to fight yet, and I don't think they have the capabilities to do that. So that is a possibility, though.
Okay. Well, let's find out what's going to happen. It's game number 1 of a series. Who takes the lead? Let's find out.
That's right, we're about to find out Team Spirit versus RNG. We've already had a little bit of talk about the draft. Our panel severely disappointed in some of those last picks. How'd you feel, Kyle?
I bat into a first pick of bad, and that's just... There isn't much to say about that one. It's questionable. And you have no real tether target for the Wisp now. I mean, obviously you can go for the PL, but I much prefer to see Wisp abuse those neutral items like we saw in the previous series.
Sure.
You don't have that benefit with a PL necessarily, because you also kind of give away which one's real.
Yeah. It definitely was not... it feels like there's a lack of synergy in some scenarios, for sure.
Yeah, but you don't have bad against the bad, so I'm still definitely favoring RNG. I think they're also the better team. It's the Immersion Earth Spirit, always got potential, especially with the Invoker.
You think Team Spirit's a better team, really?
No, RNG's better.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was about to say, I was going into this, I feel like RNG, for me anyway, was like probably the second best team, maybe third.
Yeah. I think Super's change to the heart support is something we should be seeing a lot more of these core players do. It's reminiscent, it's very similar, I think, to Fada's switch.
Yeah.
If you think about their style of mid, right? They're pretty much the same. The Razor DK Viper player, very intelligent, been a staple of the scene for almost a decade. It makes sense to see them swap onto this 5 position, let the new blood come in, play these superstar, flashy core heroes, and just focus on making your team have a strong strategy to succeed.
Well, you're probably hearing there's definitely going to be some home crowd supporters here for Team Spirit as we lay out for the boundary runes. And it looks like it is probably just going to be a 2-for-2 split. As you said, for anybody who is confused, that is Super. That is the old Vici Gaming mid player, not the little Super that we referred to who used to be on IG. So we do have a bit of a role change. As Super had a little bit of time to coach before this.
Yep.
So he got more, I feel like coaching is like very similar to being 5, right?
Yeah.
I see a lot of coaches go in and out to playing support because a lot of it's more big brain, telling your team where to move and stuff like that, right?
It's just so peaceful. I took a pretty long break from Dota, played some over the holidays, and surprisingly, I mean, again, you're playing in North America, so
yeah, not
being
pretty
good
low
in that
standards.
region, especially as a support player, is not exactly challenging, but it's more of like a turn-based RPG on the 5 nowadays. It's like, okay, I've got 10 seconds, let me walk over to the pull. Let me go place a ward. You know, it's casual, it's peaceful. None of those pesky mechanics needed. Should have switched a long time ago.
Well, it's never too late, Kyle. Don't give up on your dreams. Immersion and Non-Grata, I think, are 2 of the most interesting players on Team Spirit, simply because they were both on a team that was very successful at one point in time. We had both the, Gambit, who were just shy of being able to make TI last year, and then, what was the other one? We had...
LTW had that short run on OG.
Non-Grata was on the Flight of Moon that had that really good Epicenter run, where they placed, I think, 4th. They lost to Team Liquid. which is pretty respectable, especially since they went 2-1 against them. So both of them have had their moments on successful teams. Now on this Team Spirit, who are a little bit farther down the totem pole when it comes to the CIS teams, but
yeah, they're here at the Minor, though.
Yep.
Solid start. It's a packed region. It's similar to Southeast Asia, where if you're not a fan or working within the region, you don't really understand just how many talented teams there are trying, that are at a pro level and applying a pro level of effort to try and compete. There's at least 10 teams in CIS that take this full-time series.
yeah, everybody cares about the Tier 1 teams, so that's how a lot of people judge the regions. But the truth is, you can get a lot more read on based on how strong the Tier 2 teams, and there is a wealth of strong Tier 2 teams in the CIS region.
It's also why all like the new mid players that come out of nowhere, they're not really coming out of nowhere. They're developing in the feeder scene of these very of the deep regions, specifically Southeast Asia and CIS.
We had, of course, Europe showing as well, with Tanner having his run with Vikings, immediately picked up by Ninjas of Pajamas. Bottom lane, it's a bit of a pesky lane, but Phantom Lancer always has a way to be able to get rid of that sticky napalm when it builds up a bit too much. He also has a way to deal with Terrorblade and his reflection, which used to be a big counter, right?
Yes, if you're Terrorblade, it's very difficult to get that Sunder off when your entire game freezes for 4 frames.
That too. Well, it looks like this laning phase is just going to be pretty passive. Our mid matchup is currently being won by the Puck. Just a little bit in denies right now. Setsu doing a good job over Urgon.
It's pretty Puck favorite, to be fair. You have a base damage advantage. You can, you never really, how do you get hit by any spells, right? You can always juke the EMP. This is a Quas Wex Invoker, too. I have not seen this on this patch. I'm not sure what to expect out of it, but it will, of course, turn that Terrorblade into a super carry. But I'm a bit concerned, because you look at Spirit, where's the damage output, if not for the ILTW Terrorblade?
You know, I almost thought we were going to see an Exort Invoker simply because they picked out the Batrider last and it had a tempo controller core at that point, and then they also had the Earth Spirit, so it felt like they had enough active heroes in their showcase, right?
That's a great point, because if you're going to pick the Bat, you assume that there will be a Sunstrike to follow up. But if you're going to go Quas Wex, I would have much preferred, like the Underlord, as BSJ was consistently trying to get them to select.
Brian loves the Underlord right now in this patch.
It's high damage. You've got the Uber out if necessary, but more importantly, you can buy those teamfight items, which no one on the lineup can, and that's never a good sign in this meta.
Terrorblade is still free farming away. Looks like the top lane has just been total free farm for both sides. As Flywin, also known as Flyby, he's been doing a good job as the Abaddon here. Another hero that has a Dispel against the reflection of the Terrorblade.
September, I haven't seen him in a while. I think just because there's been such a lull since TI, but he made some waves, I think playing with whatever the D-Stones lineup was that had some success.
The old Aster team.
Yeah, but he's definitely had potential, and I'm glad to see him on a real lineup. Nice last hit there by Immersion. Good gank mid onto the Puck. They find the kill.
Yeah, the Puck was doing really well in CS, so it's about time that Immersion makes his rotation. It's good to see the Immersion Earth Spirit is back. It feels like some of these 4-position players that had their moment to shine, like Immersion did, kind of fell off simply because it wasn't their patch anymore. Yep. See September die in the top lane.
Yeah. It's, I think, 4-position. Oh, another juke out. Is the one most affected by swaps in the meta, because, you know, it seems like one week you're playing Earth Spirit Tusk every game, your only job to find kills. Next day, you're playing a Winter Wyvern, you have to push out the hard lane, hide, and play defensive. And it's rare that you find players that are capable at both. One, of course, you know, Jarex has won 2 TIs, so.
Not a bad record.
I always think about it as ET and Earth Spirit. If you can play both, you can have a career.
That's just like the 2 different type of 4 positions, right? The laning 4 and the roaming 4.
Yeah, the stand there and the do stuff. Love this Buckler start on the Earth Spirit too. This is just my favorite item. I've always loved Buckler.
Yeah, the 3 and 4 position item build is really important right now. One of them is going to get Buckler. The other one's probably going to get Ring of Bacillus if it's a lane that's needed for it. Mr. Non-Grata here fighting it out. with Super, who is going to get bonked by Immersion. It looks like this could be his death as he's just not able to tether away in time.
Yep.
Still a little bit of cooldown.
Really like to see this. Whenever you're countered in lane as an offlaner by the enemy core, you always want to just try and cut waves behind tower. The support can't deal with you, the core can, so just force him to sit under tower doing nothing.
It's a little surprising to me that Super felt compelled to contest this so much, because it's not like Phantom Lancer is bad at being able to tank creep waves, right?
Yeah.
Having such high armor, plus the illusions and
You
such.
can just leave him down there. The problem is, again, it's a Wisp. So who does he go to play with, right?
Yeah.
It's an offlane of Baden who's just kind of trading. You already have Disruptor up there.
September dead again.
Another rotation.
Just keeps on falling to the Terrorblade every single time he pops a Metamorphosis. Good rotation by Immersion. Set up, but as you said, phase shift makes it pretty easy. Now he's going to turn on to Urgon here. Urgon forced to stay underneath the coil and will quickly go invis, but still, Non-Grata actually getting the kill on Monet. Very surprising, but Urgon still dying as September shows up and drops the Sentry.
Nice play. How'd they kill the Phantom Lance?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, that kill should not have happened.
Was that, he was alone, right?
Yeah. Since the IO came mid earlier, it looks like he was left alone for just
Maybe
a little bit of time.
A level less, a level up, something like that?
Yeah. Well, it looks like he still has Lasso up cooldown, so that makes it even weirder, right? This is just quite the mysterious case we have on our hands.
That's a big kill, too. It gives Bat a game of sorts. He's now got the level advantage on the PL. There's that Bassi you're talking about on September. I like it with the 2 points in the queue. After the change, now that it gives you that little mini slow, you get so many attacks off, and it's just, it represents so much damage threat. You just spam it, and when you're playing with an Abaddon, it's not as if you have kill potential. You just want to harass and force TB, which as you can see now, into his jungle.
Yeah, I feel like Thunderstrike was always one of those, for the mana cost, the amount of damage it did was always very efficient. It's just like, oh, well, of course I want maxed out Glimpse, and if I'm going to be going that kind of style, I want maxed out Kinetic Field. Now, people really want at least 2 levels. Glimpse back to stop the TP. Misha, I'm not sure if he thought maybe Glimpse just wasn't up for September yet or what, but it's definitely there, and it definitely gets them the kill. Nice. Tornado. That's going to prevent him from being able to jump away to his orb. Immersion takes that opportunity to try and grab Setsu here. With the cold snap slowing him down so much, Setsu is going to be able to just barely limp back to his tower in time. Now, September, does he have the glimpse up? I don't think so. Bottom lane, Non-Grata a little bit low as he's being chased by Monet and Super. Monet trying to get close enough to get that Phantom Rush at a distance over the cliff area, but not able to do so.
Yeah, so far so good from Spirit, though. You've got to be happy with how these lanes have gone out. You could argue they're outmatched in each one, yet they found a foothold. Still a little behind in gold, of course, but I expected worse.
Immediately popping that ultimate to get rid of the telekinesis disable, and that in turn makes sure that Immersion doesn't actually land the secondary stun.
Yeah, maxed out shield, so durable, so tough to take down. 11 armor. Not the Bassi.
Mid lane, Urgon in trouble once again, just stuck inside the coil with a sentry ward laid out. He tries to get the kill onto Super because he knows there is nothing else for him to do.
Another reason the Quas Wex to me doesn't make too much sense, because throughout the entire game, Puck still kills you a hell of a lot easier than you kill him.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you've got some mid-matchup, like we've seen when the old VP would pick it into like a TA, where you just get your spells off, and now all of a sudden with the +1, you're killing this hero. You're never actually threatening Puck, and if he just coils you, your invis, your move speed, that's all irrelevant.
And as a Quaswex Invoker, it's surprising that he's not moving around more, especially since his matchup is bad. Non-Grata in some trouble here. As the rotation comes from September, he's done with that top lane, and he's going to start making waves in mid and bottom, it seems. As he knows that Ben can stand solo.
Especially with all the items he's collected. 4K net worth already.
Yeah.
This is looking real good for RNG. They're going to be able to pressure with all 3 of their cores and in different ways. Abaddon is durable, PL both durable and elusive. And then the Puck can either camp mid or rotate, and now you're finding kills with any help.
So RNG doing well in this laning phase, but you said as Team Spirit you should be kind of happy. You think they should have lost this laning phase even harder then?
Yes. They're going to take the outpost 2 versus 1. They reload.
Oh, the relocate in. That's going to be able to get behind Misha here and quickly execute him, but Super's quite low. They need a little bit more to catch Misha, and the Phantom Rush will do the trick. Same goes with Immersion. He'll fall RNG, just bringing more numbers to this fight.
That is some very solid play by RNG. A 1 TP, a relocate, all of a sudden they're fully 5 heroes top. And this is kind of what I expected. This is why Spirit is outmatched here, because after that laning phase dissipates, what do? who is hunting, right? You've got a Bat, an Invoker, an Earth Spirit. You need at least 2 heroes, preferably 3, to find any kills. They're going to find something.
The lasso bottom lane is going to be able to get the kill on Super.
He did relocate himself back there by himself.
Yeah.
It will take top tower now for it. And another issue with this Dire lineup is outside of the Terrorblade, there's no tower pressure.
Right.
You need ILTWs for literally everything in this game, and I just don't see RNG letting off the gas. They're already 4K ahead. Just bounce down to 3, but either way, you're feeling very confident.
And with this kind of lead, it's hard for Team Spirit to feel confident about being able to take 5v5s, right? If they go and like, okay, let's go for a Terrorblade Metamorphosis push, we have a lot of control. I'm not necessarily so sure they're actually going to win that fight that they try to take. Once again, Fly just quickly takes out that Disable, but the Tornado, always a good counter to the Abaddon, holding them up a little bit longer. I think this is just going to be too hard of a kill for them to catch. 3 people rotating up top lane for nothing. Meanwhile, bottom, the 3-man rotation from RNG is certainly going to get a kill on Nangrada's Batrider.
This is one of my favorite combinations of supports to draft when I was still playing with my brother. Wisp Disruptor. If you can survive the laning phase, you're just... It's so frustrating to play against, because any moment you could get reload on, sure. But if Disruptor TPs or rotates around, like, you have Glimpse for so many seconds setup, it's just child's play to all of a sudden have 3, 4 heroes. Especially, you ever try and push a tower by yourself? Just a Disruptor represents 4-hero threat. Because you have a teleport and the reload coming in. Now bots up on the puck, continuing to abuse this map mobility. And like we talked about in the pre-show, it's just so
relocate into mid lane. They do have the coil out already onto Immersion. Now the counter coil coming from the Rubik. Really good control. They're going to be able to snap it on Super. Already killing him. Monet's in trouble as ILTW is able to focus him down pretty well, but he does manage to jump himself away to safety as Fly is going to be able to help him out. Now Immersion has gone a little bit too far in his hunt for that kill onto the Phantom Lancer, but it is still Team Spirit up with 5. RNG not able to cross the river.
And they force the meta far away from any tower, which means that still Spirit won't be able to get any pressure going.
Nangrada just out of position here. The rest of his team is going to start making their way over to try and help him out. A Tornado, a clean whiff, and Nangrada, one more nuke. That's all they need, and they will be able to get it. But now Immersion rolling in does manage to hit the 2-man slow. But ILTW, he's now here, but he's already low enough that he's afraid of getting bursted down. So once again, Team Spirit just not able to do anything with those fights, except for the puck that went to the back line. What? Why did he jump to his orb?
I think he tried to kill the Terrorblade there, who got a timely Sunder off, just didn't finish him in time. Just, you know, trying to make plays. I'm sure he's feeling himself at the moment. You know, if you're RNG right now that you're ahead, you can feel the pressure you're putting on the Spirit, and the kill potential from that Dire lineup just doesn't feel there. It's really all on this Earth Spirit of Immersion to just consistently land rolls and find kills, but RNG doing a great job of ensuring they're never caught isolated.
So because RNG has this Phantom Lancer, who's getting very big, what would you say is the timing that Team Spirit needs to make some sort of drastic maneuver and try and change the fate of this game?
That's a good question. They need pickoffs is the problem. I don't see them winning team fights. You need to... You need damage too. You need to have TB at a tower as you find a kill somewhere on the map, and then you link to the Terrorblade to get some structure damage. Because your big concern right now, if you look at the map, hang on.
Glimpse back, Urgon. He does have Immersion somewhere close by, but a kick isn't really going to do a whole lot. He knows that if he gets close, he's just going to be another Glimpse target. Meanwhile, the relocate into the back lines catches Misha, and it's already burned Immersion out of all of his mana. And once again, another ally approaches the fight, but somebody's going to get Glimpse off this. They're going to give September the vision. Look for it. No Glimpse opportunities. The TP buyback comes in from Misha. RNG call it quits. They say, no need to get too greedy here. We already forced a lot out of Team Spirit.
And I love that. You get Diffusal, what do? Go. That's hitting a timing in a nutshell. 15 minutes. Runes will spawn shortly. 6K gold lead already for RNG. Expect them to regroup or even maybe just find a kill if they get a glimpse.
Yeah, they just keep on trying to force these fights around the glimpse opportunities here. And Team Spirit just do not feel good about the 5v5. So instead, they are always trying to run away from RNG.
It's something a lot of players have been saying, like, as a support nowadays, it feels so good if you're 4, because you don't need to do anything nowadays. Like, your cores are going to be farming. You just run around the map, look for kills. Disruptor is perfect for it, and September just constantly on the move. Travel time is one of my favorite stats nowadays, because you don't need to farm. Like, look at his items, right? He's got Bassy, Boots, the Brooch.
Yeah.
No other gold necessary.
He's got the damage build of maxing out the Thunder Strike second, which I'm a big fan of right now. Kinetic Field to be able to hold Nangrada in place. Around the river area is kind of awkward for Phantom Lancer to catch him, but they have the vision thanks to the Thunder Strike that makes it a lot easier. for those range heroes to bring him down.
Look at that, the Aquila up on the PL. This is the dream. You have a Yasha on Courier too. This is looking so good right now for RNG. Blink up on Puck. All their entire lineup's activated. And that's another concern I have with Spirit. What item changes this game right now? Maybe a Blink on Bat, but if the Abaddon's nearby, it's Nullify.
Yeah. Same goes with the Invoker. The choice of Quasu X Invoker means his timing was already right now.
Yeah.
So there's not some like later big power spike that you're waiting for.
And look at the team fight items you fly on. You already have the Vlad's advantage. Soon you'll have a pipe.
Look at him, just throwing out the shackles, making sure they're going to catch somebody out of this, especially with September in a position to be able to get a good glimpse. Good Static Storm, that's going to be able to control Ergon. Meanwhile, on the side, they're trying to beat down Monet, and they almost get him until a big heal comes out from Super, and they are able to jump away. Monet now back to full health, thinking to take the fight, but is going to retreat a little bit. He wants to make sure this Metamorphosis doesn't allow Team Spirit to win a fight. They're going to try and catch this Abaddon. Monet going back into the side, trying to burn out Non-Grata, but as soon as he's focused on by ILTW, he backs it up, and now ILTW left with very low HP. They're looking to be able to burst him down. It looks like the Doppelganger is just going to be too much. He can't fight. Oh, he does actually fight the real one. Enough AoE damage, and sure, maybe ILTW dies, but it's going to be one fight for Team Spirit as they look to be able to chase down more heroes. But Setsu, big burst damage in the backline, is going to be able to finish up Misha, at least, and Fly is already healed up enough that they can go back in, catch these heroes with the glimpse. And already, Team Spirit, they saw their opportunity. They thought they were going to be good, but Setsu comes in with the big AoE nukes, and Team Spirit very quickly fall apart after what they thought was going to be a win. Is Ergon? It'd still be Connor. Puck 5 seconds up for the Blink Dagger. Orb. Silence up. Glimpse over to the side. That's going to just put him into a bad position where as long as they have something, and that is the something they needed, Coil.
That fight went better than it should have for Spirit because Misha got the steal of the shield. It's the only reason the Terrorblade stayed alive as long as he did. Got 2 off on him. But as you can see, the sustained damage output of RNG is just too much. Even without their carry, they just sustain. Your damage is irrelevant if you don't find kills. They're just immediately healed up to full. You saw that mech from the Wisp took Monet from 20% to full HP, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, Monet, they have not just that mech, but also the Vlad's pick up, the Abaddon, the Miscoil heals, the shields. There's so many things that makes this Phantom Lancer. It comes to a point where you were talking about how the weird dyssynergy of like revealing the real Phantom Lancer, but when you have this much sustain, it just doesn't seem to matter. He's so strong when he gets that Diffusive Blade timing. Now they're trying to use that strength to bring down Roshan, which they should do completely unimpeded.
There's just not much you can do with Spirit. There's no meta. There's no hope.
Look at that. September already on the move. He knows his team has got the free Roshan. Yep. He's going to teleport to the side lane and make sure to catch somebody. And there's going to be the rotations with the relocate as well as the Puck trying to join him. September's already made sure they picked on the Bat Rider. Roll in from Immersion. Oh, blocked out by Super. So he's not going anywhere. He's just food for Monet. Should be able to run down with the last bit of remnants of this double damage rune.
Wow. How cool is this draft, Cap? Like, you take Roche, within 5 seconds, you're 5 heroes bottom. And there really isn't much of a counterplay for Spirit. They don't have any sort of escape mechanisms, especially up against a Puck, a Disruptor, a PL. The chase potential from this RNG squad is way too much to handle.
Let me just say, the Disruptor right now, I think he's one of the best 4/5s of this like last month or so. And he just feels so oppressive once you lose the laning phase.
Yep.
And as you pointed out, RNG was always going to win the laning phase with this kind of draft.
It's just, we haven't even mentioned the warding. RNG's done a great job controlling enemy jungle. It's just so easy for them to play because you're not punished by over-rotating. You can see they're continuously...
Non-Grata does manage to find Super here, but because of the coil, he's stuck in one place, and he's just not tanky enough to survive through it all.
And now you got Aegis, you can have a Manta in a second on Monet, then this gets a lot more difficult for Spirit. You can dispel the, pretty much everything. LTW's in trouble. No BKB.
He does have the Aphotic Shield stolen by Misha, helping him out. Nice tornado, but the pullback there for Glimpse puts ILTW in an awkward position. Can he actually get off some sort of Sunder? He's silenced up right now. Good timing there from September. The roll forward. Oh, blink forward by Setsu, almost blocking the roll. Instead, they're going to have to just get Misha instead of Immersion.
Man, September is making it rain like the fall season.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's just all over the map. And everywhere he goes, Team Spirit knows they can't actually take a team fight, therefore it means free glimpse kills.
Yeah, it's just, this is how you play Dota 2 nowadays. I think that one of the big weaknesses of a lot of the tier 2 squads in the scene is their inability to capitalize on a lead. RNG's done a great job of just demonstrating how to tighten a noose properly. You win the laning phase, you get towers earlier, you start forcing engagements and really just abusing their mobility. You're constantly taking fights with more numbers than your opponents. You don't ever give Spirit a chance to come back. Now you've got this critical lead, you got a bunch of heroes dead, start clearing out these tier 2s.
Looking at the other side of that coin, because this patch is pretty snowball heavy and such, what do you do when you're in Team Spirit's position? How do you...
Oh, no clue. That's the problem I have with the patch. Because if you can't, you're not able to, you can't get outposts, you can't get runes, you can't get neutral items.
Yeah.
RNG have 6 extra items as they're now on your high ground in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Like, well, what are you supposed to do? This is gonna be a Rax.
Tornado going off. No EMP to follow it up. They need a little bit of pokes. They need to be able to burn out some of these heroes from RNG. Because a straight 5-on-5 is not going to be good enough. You can see that Dispel immediately coming out. EMP, nothing really coming of that. Immersion's going to be slowed down as Illusion seeing on top of him. Misha trying to go for some sort of wraparound. I think he gets caught by the puck, ends up dying. Nagrata trying to play around the cliff here, but the coil's going to lock him in place, and the Rage Heroes will finish him off while Immersion is very much stuck as well. That's going to be 3 dead from the side of Team Spirit. Good Tornado coming in, but it's not enough to save Immersion. 1 buyback already being used, and that's the Batrider. You've used a buyback, and you can't take a fight.
Excellent play from RNG, definitely the better team here, but Spirit put themselves in a huge hole from the draft, notably the last pick. I think their line was fine. You pick a bat into a bat, a 22-pick PL comes out, completely uncountered. You have no wave clear, no illusion clear. How do you win this game as Spirit?
Definitely felt like RNG took the took a good effect of that last pick, but Team Spirit already kind of put themselves in that wall. Misha quickly cleaned up by Monet. They can try and hold them with Tornado as much as they want. Nagrata's going to be stuck inside the Static Storm with the Kinetic Field. Meanwhile, Fly is actually going to drop it a little bit low. He still has his ultimate though, and ILZW almost forced it, does manage to get off that Sunder, and now Setsu in trouble. Do they have any AoE sort of control? Meanwhile, ILTW is battling out Monet, and he can't actually stand this fight because it's a delusion fight. He doesn't know which one is real, and eventually he will fall. Immersion, okay, glimpse back on Urgon. It's not Immersion who dies, but Urgon very likely here is he already has the dust on him. He's not going to be able to ghost walk out of this one. September, beyond godlike disruptor.
My MVP for sure. This man has been everywhere.
Incredible performance to be sure, and it's not quite yet over as the Thunderstrike under Nagrata, keeping the vision. He glimpses over, make sure that he will fall again.
Spirit keeps trying to poke in and poke out, but there's always a glimpse. And it's like watching it's like you've ever watch a pack of wolves, isolate someone from the herd. You don't even need to do the work of it. You just kind of teleport some cap out to the squad, and they go to town. RNG 23-minute, 5-second dominating victory.